Genesis chapter 17. Visualized, covenant, names, and divine promise. In the 99th year of Abram's life, when the long silence of decades had settled over the promise, the Lord appeared to him once more. The voice was not distant. It was near, steady, unmistakable. I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be blameless. A covenant was spoken of again, not fragile, not temporary, but enduring. A bond between heaven and one aging man who still waited for a child. Abram fell on his face. And there, with his forehead to the earth, he heard the future spoken over him. You shall be the father of many nations. The name Abram, exalted father, was no longer enough. You shall be called Abraham, father of a multitude. The promise widened. Nations would rise from him. Kings would emerge from his line. An everlasting covenant would stretch beyond his lifetime, beyond his sight, into generations not yet born. The land where he wandered as a stranger, Canaan, would one day belong to his descendants, not as a passing shelter, but as an everlasting possession. Then came the sign. Every male among his household, every son, every servant born under his roof or bought with silver, would bear in their flesh the mark of this covenant, a physical reminder of an invisible promise. It would begin on the 8th day of life, a mark carried through every generation. To reject it would be to step outside the covenant itself. The promise was not only for Abraham. Sarai, the voice declared, shall no longer be called Sarai. Her name would be Sarah, princess. She too would be blessed. She would bear a son. Nations would come from her. Kings of peoples would rise from her womb. Abraham, still bowed low, laughed. Not in mockery, but in astonishment. 100 years old, and Sarah, 90. Could life rise from bodies so worn by time? In the quiet of his heart, the question trembled, and Abraham spoke aloud another name, Ishmael. Oh, that Ishmael might live before you. The answer was gentle, yet firm. Ishmael is blessed. He will be fruitful. 12 princes shall come from him. He will become a great nation. But the covenant, the everlasting covenant, would be established through a son yet unborn. You shall call his name Isaac. Laughter. At this appointed time in the coming year, Sarah would hold the child of promise. And then the voice withdrew. The presence lifted. Heaven's conversation ended. Abraham rose from the ground. There was no delay, no hesitation. On that very day, he gathered Ishmael, 13 years old, and every male within his household, those born under his roof, and those purchased with his wealth. In obedience, in the same day, the covenant was marked in their flesh. Abraham himself, 99 years old, bore the sign. Ishmael bore it. Every man of his house bore it. The promise had not yet become visible. The child had not yet been conceived. The land was still occupied by others. But the covenant stood. A new name, a marked people, a future spoken into existence by the Almighty. And in the quiet desert air, under the vast and watchful sky, a century-old man carried within him the certainty that the impossible had been promised.